Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are three guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy! Hey folks, this is episode 159 of the Ages of Rock podcast. I'm here with my esteemed colleagues Dennis and Bill. And this week, all we're going to do is talk about the Metallica concert that my friend Jeff and I went to on Saturday. And then that Bill and Dennis and I went to the Kiss concert in Louisville on Tuesday. And my trip to the Louisville show was an unexpected gift that I got the ticket. I was offered the ticket the night before the show, and I actually got the ticket because the guy that invited me, my friend Mike Miller, unfortunately got tied up at work, and he ended up not being able to go to the show.
Oh, my.
But our mutual friend, who happens to also live in Evansville, was bringing the ticket with him to the show in Louisville. But, I mean, he was running late, traffic was going, whatever was going on. He basically got there, handed me the ticket in time for me to get it and get sit down for the show to start.
I'm going to need a map.
Yeah.
That whole thing, I need a flow chart about how that.
The funny thing about this, whole show is that, you know, we were all three in Louisville at Freedom Hall at the reunion
show,
and the second show of the reunion tour. And we were all in different spots. I knew where Bill was at, but we didn't know that you were there. So here we are now in, 2015.
Now, we were weren't all three of us at Roberts Stadium for the reunion show?
Yep.
Yes.
Were all three of us at Freedom Hall for the farewell show?
No.
Okay.
I was at Evansville.
I went to the one in Indy.
Did you go to the farewell show in Evansville?
Yes.
I did, yes.
You did? Well, we were all there for that one. But, of course, I missed a good part of the show because of some cockhead fucking security guy. I swear, 10 people, with me included, all had cameras. He picked one of us and tried to throw us out because we had a camera. I'm like, dude, look, see that? Leave me the fuck alone. Nope, I can throw you out if I want. I'm like,
and now everybody came into this last farewell tour show with a camera on their phone.
We all have this camera right here, buddy.
And most people were live. Actually, you know what? That place is terrible for live video, and it pissed me off because I did 2 live things. The first one was the first part of the show. It got to where they were getting ready to pull the curtain down. It goes, my phone goes out, says still recording. That recording got lost. So I don't even have that one. We have the one from midpoint through the show. I did it again, and it went for about 3 minutes. Fine. But they have terrible cellular service in Louisville.
Well, keep in mind there were also 17,000 cell phones in that room with you.
But I had my phone.
But everybody's trying to connect to the same cell tower.
I am no ding dong.
What'd you say about your ding dong?
My ding dong. Anyway, but it was great. It was great to see like I said, it was my first Kiss show since the last farewell tour. So from my last Kiss show to this Kiss show was 19 years, and it went from a farewell tour to a farewell tour. Go figure.
Yeah, but the last tour.
Well,
the farewell tour was farewell to Ace and Peter.
Right.
I mean, they all but said that in Gene
that.
has a way with words. Yeah.
Right.
So.
And I'm fine with that. And I got some remarks to say on those two that same situation. So anyway,
Gene and Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
That depends on what your definition of is.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll go ahead and.
So where are we going to start?
We're going to start with the Metallica. Makes sense since Metallica happened first.
Okay.
I'll be quiet.
I went to the Metallica show at the Center in Louisville with my friend Jeff, and he's going to be on here in a few minutes because I interviewed him, got his point of view of the show. I'm just going to kind of give a quick overview because what I got to say and what Jeff has to say are fairly similar. But let's see, the show started out with Hardwired and Atlas Rise, both of those being off of the Hardwired album. I don't know the name of the album because I don't have it.
I think that's what it's called, isn't it?
Hardwired or Self-Destruct, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
So there, whoever was getting ready to bitch at me, you know your name, Mike. Anyway, they did a couple of songs off the new album to start it off, and then they jumped into like Seek and Destroy, Harvester of Sorrow, and then they did The Unforgiven. Overall, the show was really good. I liked the light show and the video show. We were up in section 310, which is in the upper level, but we had the front row in that section, so we didn't have anything obscuring our view. No one getting in front of us during the show.
Cool.
It was really fascinating from a music production standpoint to see it from up there, because I got to see how the light rig was attached to the ceiling and how everything was operating, because those cubes would move up and down. And someone I talked to on the floor said that, you know, when you were down there looking at it, the cubes moving up and down was like a 3D effect.
Yeah, I saw that somewhere. They had written that. Yeah,
that was pretty cool. But overall, I mean, I was really happy, even though they did The Unforgiven and what's that other slow song? Nothing Else Matters. I'm not a big fan of those songs, basically because MTV ran them into the ground. You know, they're not bad songs. I just got tired of hearing them. But they're like Kiss. They're like the Rolling Stones or any other band that has more than 4 or 5 albums. You can't do a 2 or a 2.5 hour show and get every song every fan wants to hear. So for the biggest part of it, they kicked ass. They do change up their set list. They change out 5 songs every city. So, you know, like your first 4 songs are the same song, then maybe song number 5 is a different one, then your next few songs are what you normally expect, you know. And I didn't go back and look at the set lists. Jeff did, so he goes into more detail about that. But apparently I'm the only person of all my friends that like Metallica that likes the song Fuel. Because
I like Fuel.
Jeff was like, I was fine till they did that song, and then Mike did the same thing. He sent me a text. The show was great up until now. But
this is one of the newest songs, right?
Well, Fuel, I think that was on, might have been
older.
on Load or Reload, one of those albums. I mean, it's been out for a while.
Oh yeah, that's been out. That came out right out, not long after the Black Album came out.
Yeah, that was like 95 or something.
Yeah, it's been out for a long time.
But the best part about it was everybody that had a ticket, you know, they put a web address up there, and you put in your barcode number, and you get to download an MP3 of the show for free.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's pretty cool. Well, they have that livemetallica.com. You don't ever have to go to a Metallica show, and you can hear every one of them if you want to pay $1.29 per MP3.
Oh, that's cool.
Kiss do that?
But that's
Kiss
per
do
song.
That years ago.
Yeah, well, Kiss did they did the MP3 thing as well.
Or was it Live Nation?
That was
Live Nation did the MP3 thing, I think. Before that, they did Instant Live.
Yeah, got you.
And that was the CDs that they basically, you got a raw soundboard recording.
That's cool, though. Yeah. I like that. I wish it would do that with everybody. So
one of the things in the show I could have done without was at one point after Halo on Fire, Kirk Hammett and Rob Trujillo do a duet of something, you know, and it's different every night. Robin Trower's 71st birthday, I believe it was on Saturday. So those two did a Robin Trower song. You know, Kirk did all the guitar work like Robin would do.
Bridge of Sighs?
They did not do that one. That's the only Robin Trower song I know.
I would,
but whatever they did, they had whatever they did. They had, you know, on music stands, and they had cheat sheets on there and everything, and Trujillo sing it. So that was I mean, it was kind of cool for what it was. You know, I've seen in shows past. They did Purple Rain one night, you know. But overall, that was my first time seeing Metallica. I really enjoyed the stage show. The band was on fire. Lars is Lars. You know, the show was in the round. His drum set was in the middle of the stage, and it was on a round platform.
Spinner, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was a spinner because when the show started,
Lars.
He was facing us, and then about a quarter of the way through the show, the drum set spun 90 degrees. Right. Then he faced that, and he did that to make the full the full go round.
Should have been like the restaurants where they just kind of
cool.
go very slow, just all night, kind of spins around.
If you're talking about the whole stage, holy crap, that would be a technical nightmare.
No, I'm just saying for his drum set though, just kind of go slow, kind of like a lazy Lars.
Lars kind of has a hard enough trouble playing when he's sitting still.
I know. I'm moving. I don't know what to do.
But on a side note, Lars showed up at the Kiss concert last night.
Really? Oh, really?
Did y'all see him up on the screen?
No.
Yeah, they showed him on the big screen right at the beginning of the show. He had been backstage with Kiss because when they got done with the show in Indianapolis, he came back down to see the Kiss show.
Oh. Huh.
So, yeah, and I forget who it was, but somebody was pretty close. Well, yeah, Metallica does like Kiss does, and they take every other day off. Yeah. Of course, as big as their stage production is, it probably takes that long to set it up and tear it down.
Right.
Because, I think someone said they had like 23 semis full of stuff. I don't know.
Wow.
Metallica did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's impressive. I don't know how to describe it any other way. But I love the music. I love the whole presentation.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I wanted to go.
Hetfield did a pretty good job.
I wouldn't drop that money,
Yeah. Well, Hetfield would have. God damn it. Hetfield did a pretty good job of being a front man, talking to the crowd. At one point he engaged a kid. Talked to this kid. How old are you? 12. And you're a Metallica fan. Well, where's your mom? And then she was like, she was 5 or 6 rows back. I don't think it was any of that, Dennis.
Just like, where's your mom?
But, basically when he figured out who her mom was, he's like, thank you for making a young Metallica fan,
There you go.
So, overall it was pretty cool. I guess I should talk about the opening act just a little bit. It was Jim Brewer. Apparently I'm the only person in the place that didn't care for him.
Yeah, he's a comedian, right?
He is a comedian, and I didn't know if I should expect Jim Brewer the comedian or Jim Brewer the AC/DC impersonator, because he at one time he had a comedy skit that I think was nothing but AC/DC.
Right.
But he had his funny moments, I thought, but I guess his job was basically he was the fluffer. He was
the painter. He was the painter.
He was there to get the crowd worked up. He did a good job of getting the crowd worked up. I can't say that he didn't. I just didn't find most of his humor that funny, and I think he also was really drunk.
Well, that would be a great segue into our night of Kiss.
Yeah. We got to get through Jeff and Bryan and Phil first.
Oh, well,
so
we'll do that first.
Yeah.
Then we'll get into it.
So, now that I am done with my review or my babbling, whatever you want to call it, here's my friend Jeff. Hey Jeff, how's it going?
Not too bad, brother. What's up?
Not much. Just ready to hit that next concert, but until then, we need your review of the Metallica show.
All right, you came to the right man, my brother. First of all, a big shout out to Laura Tate and you for making it possible for me. First time I ever got to see Metallica, I was excited. It delivered, so I appreciate that from you guys. First things first, the rain. Yeah, rain doesn't have anything to do with a concert, I know, but you were there. It was raining nonstop. We were okay till they opened the door, and then that last storm hit, and my jacket is just now dry. But it worked out. I'm telling you what, people, I was soaked. It was worth it, though. I think you pointed this out on Facebook earlier, but the Yum Center released a statement today stating that the Metallica concert was the largest attended event in arena history. 23,084 people. Now, something I would not have guessed is that the record that they broke belonged to George Strait, of all people. That record was set in 2014. The other thing the statement mentioned is that this was the largest crowd that Metallica has had on this tour, which is kind of misleading because I think this tour has pretty much been going on for 3 years, just different legs. So that record will I'm sure will be broken at some point, especially when they go overseas. But it was kind of nice to be a part of history, if you will. I mean, arena history, but still history. So kind of cool in that regard. First things first, the sing-along prior to the show. For those of you who haven't been, they put several songs. There was Judas Priest, Pantera, who am I missing? Iron Maiden,
Black Sabbath,
and
Johnny Cash. And basically what they do is they put, they play a verse, maybe two, maybe a chorus, and they want everyone to sing along, gets the crowd fired up. I thought it was awesome. It was really cool. I've never been to a show where they've done that before. And so that was really cool. That got everyone ready to go. I know Jim Brewer came before then, or maybe he didn't come before then. Yeah, he was before them. I know you weren't the biggest fan of his thing. For those that don't know, he's a comedian by trade. You can't make it on Saturday Night Live for 3-4 years or host your own concert specials on Comedy Central without being funny. But I realized kind of watching him that this was not so much about comedy. It was about interacting with the crowd, getting the crowd ready for the show. And, he talked to the 8-year-old kid and then the older guy was like 66 or whatever. I know you weren't a fan of that, but I don't know if you were there when this happened, but when he talked about meeting Ozzy Osbourne, that was really funny. Just to recap, those of you that don't know, Metallica worked out an arrangement to fly him somewhere to help them with something, and turns out he was flying on Ozzy's plane, and Ozzy gets on the plane, and Brewer launches into this long story about how much Black Sabbath meant to him and Ozzy's solo work meant to him. And then he says, Ozzy took off his glasses and then said, I mean, he was basically nailed the way Ozzy talked. That was funny. But now let's get to what everyone really cares about, and that's the actual show. First things first, the stage setup, the lighting, the video cubes, unbelievable. That was amazing. I was not expecting that. I did no research on any of their shows other than just the set list. I was not expecting that. Brilliant. The way they moved the cubes around. The lighting was great. The lighting was proper, except for the one song there where we had the bright white light right in our eyes. I could have done without that, especially because the song wasn't that good. But I think it was Halo with Fire when they did that. And yeah, other than that, it was tremendous. Hats off to the production and sound crew for their work, and the lighting crew for that. They used a little bit of fire. As a Kiss fan, we're used to seeing that a lot. They did it right, I think, for their type of show. It was minimal. The explosions in the fire at the end with Enter Sandman, perfectly timed. Great job by everyone involved in the production side of the thing. As far as the set list is concerned, what I had done is I kind of went back and looked at a couple of weeks prior to this show, and what Metallica has been doing is they play 18 songs every night without fail, and they switch up 5. So we got 5 different songs than what I think it was Kansas City got before us. And we got Harvester of Sorrows, good call.
We got Halo on Fire. It wasn't bad. I'm not familiar with that song. I couldn't even tell you what album it's on. And it kind of deflated the crowd a little bit, which may have been what they were trying to do, kind of calm everyone down for a second before they came back and hit us over the head. And then the Halo on Fire was followed by the bit with Kirk and Rob doing their little song that they do each show, the tribute to Robin Trower. It wasn't bad, but I'm not a big Robin Trower fan, so it was basically Kirk just up there wanking off like he does pretty much every guitar solo that he plays.
That is the exact term that I used.
I mean, it wasn't bad. It's just I was hoping for something really weird, for them to, play I don't know, Bugs Bunny theme or something like that. It wasn't bad. The next song that we got that was different was Motor Breath. Not bad. Then that was followed by Fuel. The way it starts, give me fuel, give me fire, it sounds great, but then from that's the high point of the song. And as far as I'm concerned, after that, it goes downhill. I could have done without song. That's probably the one song in the entire set list I could have done without, that they could have played something else and I would have been okay with that.
And you are the second person who has told me that.
Yeah, and then the other bonus song that we got was Battery, which was, according to the set list, it was technically the first song of the encore. I wasn't expecting that. That was good. The rest of the show, they do it the same way. It's newer stuff, or at least their most recent stuff. They go all the way back to the first album, with my favorite Metallica song, which is
Seek and Destroy.
That's right. And then, Master Puppets, they cover it all. And I feel like they do a good job. Even any band that's been around this long should do what they've been doing, switching up songs. I mean, we talked about this that night. It's hard to do because, you've got 30 years worth of music. You can't please everyone all the time. But throwing in those bonus songs helps. I mean, imagine what it was like, what it would be like if Kiss would do something like that. I mean, of course, with Kiss fans, then you'd have people complaining, oh, well, they played Got to Choose in Nashville, but we got stuck with Baby Driver in Louisville or some kind of shit like that. You know how Kiss fans are. And I'm one of them, by the way. So
we are assholes.
Yeah. So I thought you can't really complain about this set list. I know you're not a big fan of the slower stuff like Unforgiven and Nothing Else Matters. I didn't really care much for the performance of Nothing Else Matters. I don't complain about it being in the set list, but Unforgiven, I thought they played that one really well, which kind of surprised me, to be honest with you. For those of you that don't, haven't seen the show, probably the weirdest moment was when they played the Now That We're Dead, which in the middle of that song featured this random, all four guys basically banging on boxes, playing the drums. I still don't know what the hell that was all about. The one thing I noticed about it, and I told you this, was that James Hetfield is hands down the best drummer in Metallica. He's the only one that looked like he was actually drumming. The others were just beating on the boxes. Whatever.
And that includes Lars.
I
said, and that includes Lars.
And that includes Lars, absolutely. Absolutely. That was one of those things I didn't really know what that was about when I looked through some of the set lists that they played. Because all I saw, you just see this mini blurb and it says, includes drum solo. And I thought, oh, shit, we're going to have to listen to him wank off for 10 minutes or whatever. It turns out that was not the case. It was all four of them. I mean, it was not what you would expect out of Metallica. It was like being at the circus for about 5 minutes, but I mean, it worked out okay. I thought they played most of the songs really well. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. My only two complaints, I guess, one is that sometimes, and maybe it's just because I'm old, or maybe it's because James was standing on the other side of the arena, sometimes the vocals didn't seem that clear. I don't know. Maybe
I noticed that as he went to different microphones, the vocals were better in different spots.
Right. The vocals were better in different spots, and that's what I'm getting at there. And then really if there was a disappointment, it was the screaming lady. And yeah, for those of you that don't, you guys weren't there with us, there was a lady sitting. She was in the row behind us, directly to my left, and she was impatient, waiting for the show to start. Which I don't know what that was all about. But she kept trying to get a Metallica chant started, as though 23,000 people
are going to hear her.
John Denver to come out or something.
Well, it's funny you mentioned John Denver because of the one guy Brewer talked to in the audience.
Yeah, that was funny. But really, those were the negatives. I will say this much, for being, what was 1982 the first album came out, 83, 82, somewhere, whatever. It's almost 40 years. Man, those guys wanted it that night. They were bound and determined to play their asses off. It doesn't mean it was going to be a perfect show, but they showed up ready to go, and you could tell that's a band that cares about its audience. And you can't complain about that. How many times have we've been to shows and you can tell the band just, they don't care.
They're phoning it in,
or they're fighting, or whatever. But those guys, man, they brought it. They were ready. And you have to respect that. Even if they play 18 songs and there's 3 or 4 of them that you don't like, who cares? They they were there to please the crowd, and they did. Tremendous show. I mean, it was awesome. No complaints about that. None. I would see that again.
Right on. You got anything else to say?
Fuck you. Other than that. Hey, this is the way we talk, people.
This is the way we talk on the show. I mean, it's nothing new. This is the way we talk on the show. So.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great. More than likely, after we are finished here, I'll probably think of shit that I wanted to say but didn't think about it at the moment.
Every episode, dude. Every episode.
No, really. I think that's about it. It was terrific. I'm glad that I was able to be there.
All right, man. I appreciate you taking the time to give your review.
All right. Appreciate it.
Peace out.
See ya.
Thanks for that, Jeff. I appreciate you going to the show with me, man. We have to hit some more of those shows. Now it's time to talk about Kiss. First, our friend and
look at that.
Fan, I guess we could call Bryan a fan and a friend. Fan of the show, Bryan Harris. Dennis and Bill met up with him. We all had planned to meet up once I found out I was going, but my plans got changed, but that's a whole nother story. So we got Bryan Harris on here right now to give his point of view on the show. Once he's done with his, we're going to go straight to Phil Shouse. And then when Phil's done, we're going to talk about our experiences at the show. Hang tight. Woo. Hey, Bryan, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Well, I'm tired, but other than that, I'm doing great.
Yeah, I took a vacation day today, so I got some rest.
Yeah, well, I'm saving mine up for the Kiss cruise.
Yeah, some of us can afford to do that. Some of us can't. So.
Hey, I work a second job so that I can afford to do that. So.
Yeah, well, I ain't doing that, so it's okay.
Yeah, well, I enjoy my second job because it's music related, so it's fun. I get paid to do it, and it causes me to get to do more music stuff. So it's kind of a vicious circle.
Yeah.
So, how many shows on this end of the road tour are you going to go see?
Well, last night I was in Louisville, just like the rest of the Ages of Rock podcast. Notice I didn't say Rock of Ages podcast. It's Ages of Rock podcast. Saturday, I'm going to Columbus, Ohio for that show. April 9th, I'm going down to Nashville, which I believe you're going to be at.
I'm not going to say it again, but that's my birthday.
I know. And then August 31st, going to be in Indy. And so I have 4 so far, hoping for more in future legs. So we'll see what they do.
Well, tell us about your experience at the Louisville show last night. I guess. Hold on a second. I guess we should start out by saying, where in the arena were you sitting?
We were in section 211, which it's at the opposite end of the stage, and it's like the only area that has that level. It's just above the floor. And we always, whenever we go to a concert at Yum Center, we always try and sit there because, and we try and get the front row because my wife is vertically challenged. And if we sit there, there's no one in front of you. You have a straight on shot to the stage, and the tickets are usually more reasonable than a lot of the other places. So we always try and sit there.
Yeah, Laura and I went to see Bruno Mars and Keith Urban, and we sat in that same area. And I totally agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
My wife is in the same situation your wife is in. So on that, move along and tell us about the show last night. Your thoughts?
Well, it was my 59th show, and I was floored. I had watched video. I hadn't watched a full show that people have posted, but I have watched some video. My wife had avoided it, so I kind of knew what to expect, but I got far more than what I even expected. When they first came out, it was amazing. I just looked at my wife, and she was smiling ear to ear. She was just overwhelmed, and yeah, it was great. Paul sounded good. I don't know how much help he had. It was totally obvious that he wasn't getting a ton of help on his vocals. There may have been some, and it may have been a little more apparent on some songs, but I mean, it was great for a 67-year-old guy to sing like he's singing and constantly dancing around and strutting and stuff. I don't see how those guys do it. Him and Gene, I mean, it was great. I guess I'm kind of still overwhelmed. The only thing I did notice, I was expecting tons more of the pods because everybody was commenting on the pods and stuff. So I was expecting tons of the pods throughout the whole show, which they did have some, but they did kind of remain up high to serve as the lighting rig for the show quite a bit, so they weren't coming down as much as I thought they were going to, but it was still great. I don't know. I didn't really have a standout song all of them were great. I think if I had to pick one that was kind of a downer, it would have been Say Yeah, because I like that song, but to me it doesn't belong on the End of the Road tour. There's so many other Kiss classics, and you could tell the audience kind of went from level 10 down to about maybe a 7, at that point. But besides that, it was amazing. And my wife kept asking me, "Are they going to sing Beth? Are they going to sing Beth?" And I already knew it was coming, but I didn't want to say anything. I'm like, "Well, you just gotta wait and see." She goes, "Like, they're going to sing it or not, so just tell me." And I'm like, "Well, you just gotta wait." And when Eric come up from the floor on that piano and stuff, she just looked at me and grabbed my arm and shook my arm. She was really excited. And then I also, it was kind of cool. There was a 10-year-old little girl. It was her birthday. That was her birthday present. And there was another little girl, probably about 7, sitting in the row right behind us. And I was having a lot of fun just watching them, the excitement, the wonder of those little kids. I mean, that's what, I know Kiss started out as a, badass, mean rock band, but obviously in the 70s and stuff, it evolved, and since then it's more or less been a family environment and family show, which to me that's part of Kiss. I mean, that's what it evolved to, and it's great because my own son went. His first show was when he was 8. So it was just overall it was just a great experience. Since it was a first show, I'm still kind of numb and still kind of taking it in. I'd probably have more detailed, rational thinking thoughts, after Saturday night or whatever. But just, for today, it's just I was blown away, and Tommy was great. Oh, I loved Tommy's solo and everything. And I don't want to say too much about it because I don't know if people that may watch this don't want to know any information, so I won't give any details, but I just thought that was like super cool. And it was apparent that Gene sang more songs than usual, which I had no problem with. I love Gene, and again, Paul's vocals were dead on it. Eric's freaking awesome. Eric Carr is just the vocals and the drums. I mean, he did great. And his solo on 100,000 Years was awesome. Huh?
I said you better correct yourself. You said Eric Carr.
Oh, well, yeah, Eric Singer. Sorry, Eric Carr is my all-time favorite Kiss member, so that's kind of slipped out. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. I just if people are being bitter about whatever, calling, that they're doing karaoke or still hung up on that, Tommy and Eric and the makeup stuff and everything, just let it go. Don't miss out on this tour. If you get a chance, go. I mean, even if you just buy a nosebleed for like $39 and, ends up being 45 or whatever it is, just go. You'd be sorry if you don't. So I don't know how much else I have to say. I mean, I'm just still kind of taking it all in. So,
was there any moment in the show that really stood out to you?
To me, it was the whole thing. I was just taking it all in. I don't know if there was one major highlight that, other than when they first came on stage and just the entry, the one utilized live and everything. I mean, that was just that initial blast of all that, and everything was just amazing. It was probably the best opening for Kiss show I've ever seen. I mean, and I really feel like the stage and everything they did this is probably the best stage production that they've ever did. I mean, I've seen them all, and you got the 77, Creatures, Dynasty. To me, those were like standout concerts with the stage, the production and stuff. But to me, this topped them all. It was just, when they first came out, I was blown away. It was just awesome. But as far as songs and stuff, it was kind of cool seeing Let Me Go Rock and Roll. I love that song, and it was nice getting to see that again live. But I don't really have like one big boom moment other than that opening. So I don't know if it's because I've seen them so many times and stuff that I'm kind of getting a little shaded or taking it for granted or whatever. But I think part of it is still just being overwhelmed from the whole experience last night, and I hadn't seen him since Rock the Nation, so it's been a couple of years, so it was just awesome seeing family and stuff. So
yeah, I took my son to the Rock the Nation show down in Nashville.
Yeah, we drove up to Dayton for that one. That was a long drive, and now I'm turning around Saturday and driving to Columbus, another 5-hour drive. But we're staying over. I'm not driving home after that one.
That'd be a little tough.
Yeah, I've done that. When we went to the Dayton show, Rock the Nation, I drove home after that, and I swore I'd never do that again.
Yeah, the older you get, the harder that is to accomplish.
Yeah, that was why I took a vacation day today. When I was younger, I could go 2 or 3 days, running the clubs and concerts and stuff. But as I've gotten older, it's like, nah, I ain't doing that anymore.
You got any final thoughts about last night's show?
No, I just encourage everybody, go. You don't want to miss out on this. I mean, I don't care what your opinion of certain things are. Once you get in there, you're going to forget all about that. I mean, the band sounds amazing. Stage, just costumes, everything is just fantastic. And I know a lot of the dates people are organizing, meetups and get-togethers and stuff before the show. I did get a meetup with Bill and his family, and Dennis was there. My wife and stuff, and we met up for dinner before. So we had another guest that was supposed to show up, and he kind of cheated on us and ditched us for somebody else. I won't name any names.
I don't know who you're talking about, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was a last minute thing.
Yeah, I know. That's cool. We're doing a meetup in Columbus at the Three-Legged Mare before the show Saturday. And I know we're meeting in the parking lot with Bill and probably Dennis and Indy. I don't know what's going on in Nashville. I know you're going to Nashville, and it's your birthday. So I'm hoping at some point we can get together and at least buy you a beer. So anyway,
well, I will be announcing...
As far as the show, though, last night. Huh?
I was just going to say, I've got a meetup planned, and I'm going to let everybody know here shortly when it's going to be and where it's going to be.
Cool. Awesome. And you're going to have like a registry where you want us to buy your presents and stuff, right?
I didn't think about that, but maybe I could do a GoFundMe and buy Sam T. Serpent after the tour is over.
Yeah. Gonna have to win that $1 billion lottery to do that.
Yeah.
But but go, people. Don't miss out. Just go. You won't be sorry.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on the show, Bryan.
All right. I wish I had a little more, but again, I'm still kind of numb, and it was amazing, and it's still soaking in. So
yeah.
Anyway, I appreciate you inviting me on.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
All right. You guys take it easy.
Hey, Phil. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you? Good to see you again.
Pretty good. Yeah, I was kind of surprised. I walked up and ran into you guys, and then Keith LaRue was there, and it was like a big old family reunion.
I'd seen your post that you and Dennis were on the way, so I knew you guys were going to be there. So
well, the funny thing is, I had not planned on going to the Louisville show because I'm going to the Nashville show.
Right. Yeah.
But a friend of mine sent me a message literally Monday night at like 10 minutes after 9 and said, "Hey, man, I got a ticket for you. You want to go?"
That's fantastic. Did he not go to?
Yeah.
Was he there? I didn't see that. Didn't meet your friend.
Well, the friend that gave me the ticket ended up not being able to go because he had something work related going on. He couldn't get out of it. So
okay.
So gotcha. I ended up with my ticket and his ticket. So I had an empty chair for a neighbor, and it was nice.
Nice. You had dancing. You had elbow room.
Elbow room. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that your experience at the Kiss show last night was a little bit different than my experience.
Well, the show was just. I guess we'll get to the show in a minute, but so Ryan, Jeremy, and I went together, and we decided to try. We wanted to do it one besides Nashville because Nashville backstage can be
insane
at most shows. So we knew that we probably would have a better chance of actually saying hi to Gene somewhere else. And so Louisville's a pretty easy drive, and so we hooked it up with Gene and Keith LaRue, and so yeah, we were able to go say hey to him, and got to talk to Tommy for a while too back there, and then but before all that, we did get LaRue kind of took us on stage and got pictures with Sam, and which is really all we wanted to do. We didn't care about anything else on stage. It was Sam.
And I don't know if you saw my post on Facebook, but here a while back, as soon as I saw that was happening, I was like, language alert, Sam T. fucking Serpent.
Yeah, I remember when those first shots from kind of up in Vancouver were leaked out, and it was like, well, they got Sam there. So that was really cool getting to see that. We didn't really do the stage tour. Doors were already open at this point. So we just kind of photos, looked around a little bit and then took off. So, but it was fun. But yeah, everybody seemed in really good spirits. Like Gene they're having a great time. Everything's going really, really well. And so, yeah, it was good to see him. And then the show was absolutely awesome.
Well, describe your opinion or your feelings about the show.
I'm going to speak very freely. I was prepared to yawn through this show as like a seen it, heard it thing. I haven't seen a full-blown Arena Kiss show since 2009. I guess that was Sonic Boom, right?
That's correct.
2009? Okay, so that was the last time I saw him. I missed like Motley and Def Leppard and all those package tours. I'd seen some boat shows and the Shrine Auditorium show, but nothing like full-blown. And I was just like, I saw the set list. I'm like, whatever, we'll go. I was absolutely blown completely away. Absolutely blown away.
So where in the arena were your seats?
We stood at the soundboard. So we kind of had free reign, and we had seats on one of the sides, but we saw that our passes could go to the soundboard. So we went with a couple other folks that we know that work with Kiss that were there. So we just went to the soundboard with them and watched the entire show from there. And it was ideal. It was right where Paul flew over my head. Like for the remote stage bit for Love Gun, and I was made for loving you. Like he flew right over where I stood and landed right there. It was right where we were. So yeah, the soundboard was a great place to watch. It sounded great there. Well, you could see everything.
If I look a little jealous, that's because I am. Actually, I'm not jealous at all. I think that's pretty cool. Y'all got to do that.
Yeah, it was a great spot, and it sounded great, and just you could see everything. I really wouldn't want to be close for this show at all. You're going to miss so much, going on. There's stuff going on the screens. There's stuff going on the very extreme sides, and so yeah, I wouldn't want to have a close seat for the show. But that was mine. We were all just blown away. We couldn't believe. I couldn't believe how much fun I had. I smiled and just laughed the entire time, and they sounded great. And it sounded like they had fire. They were playing with fire. The band sounded really good and, really, really hard rocking. And that was awesome. The production's amazing.
Were there any moments in the show that you didn't expect?
Yeah, I liked what they had done with the guitar solo section. The UFO thing was awesome.
Yeah.
And Gene's the blood spitting and the flying was a great. They put a couple cool twists on, long time Kiss stage act. Like the long time trick stuff, like the blood spitting and everything, and gave it a whole new twist. And those are really kind of highlights for me. And also when at the end of Let Me Go Rock and Roll, when Tommy and Paul were kind of going back doing the Heartbreaker, the Zeppelin Heartbreaker solo, that was really cool. And then when they walked up to Gene, and Gene played this Beatles song that we always used to sound check with him. So that was cool. It was it's the guitar riff to I Want to Tell You off of it's Revolver, I think, or Rubber Soul. I forget. I should know this. It's a
yeah. Don't feel bad. Song. I don't remember which album it's on either.
Yeah, so he played that, and that was like hey, we used to play. He used to play that at soundcheck all the time, and then we'd come in because Jeremy and I know the vocals and everything, so we would sing it and play it as most of it. So that was fun. That was a cool musical moment for me that I didn't expect.
Was there anything in the show that disappointed you?
I really can't think of anything. I was grinning my face hurt after smiling like that for it was right at 2 hours, right?
Yeah,
it was like
that was the biggest surprise to me is how long the show was.
Yeah, it was like 8:45 they were on, and I think it went to about 10:45.
That's correct.
I think.
Yeah, because I had sent my wife a text at 10 after 9 or so, and I'm like, oh, they've probably got about 10 or 15 minutes left in the show. And then like at 11 o'clock, I texted her back, they're finally done.
They're just done. Yeah, I was really amazed at how long they played. I mean, I'd seen the set list, but I guess you don't add the time up. And it was a full 2-hour show. And I didn't really leave. I mean, I stood. I didn't want to miss anything. I was afraid even the songs that I really knew, which were all of them, but even the songs that had been we've all seen a lot of times. I didn't want to leave because I didn't know what the production was going to be, because the production was absolutely fantastic. I didn't want to miss anything.
Yeah, I set up in section 322, so I mean I was way up there.
Okay.
But I really like that I did that because I got to see it from the production guy standpoint. I got to see everything,
Yeah.
So that was really cool. Now, when I go to Nashville, my seats are closer down. They're
cool.
in section.
You'll have both things.
Section 115 or something on Gene's side. I've never gone to a concert on Gene's side. So,
that's cool.
So I'm pretty excited about that.
Well, at the end, and at the end when they had the cranes that brought Tommy and Gene around to the sides.
Yeah.
One thing I did like.
Hopefully he'll be close enough I can reach out and smack him.
Yeah. I could have maybe hit Paul's boot last night. But one thing I did really like that I hadn't noticed at a Kiss show before. Maybe I just didn't notice it or see it, but how they incorporated the each guy's color into the lighting rig. Like I remember at one point during the beginning of Black Diamond, when they all sing the backing vocals, each guy had like this glow around them with their own color from the solo album color.
Right.
And then I liked how they would have sparks going off with the colors, with the guys' colors too. That was a cool touch. I felt like there was more Kiss nerdy stuff, and they're like Easter egg stuff that for Kiss, really big Kiss fans to notice and go, oh, that's just things like that. I thought were really cool.
Right.
Maybe one of us did. Maybe a person like us designed the lighting rig. I have no idea, but it was good. I thought that was another cool thing for me.
Yeah. Well, stuff like that. If this is the final tour, pull out all the stops.
Yeah, and I really thought it was kind of a nice touch, and how that's kind of an old school thing. The colors came from so it's kind of nice to go back to that. And it was great. I thought they had really good content on the big, major, massive screen behind them.
That was badass.
They would either have footage of the guys currently, playing, or like the old songs, they'd go back to Winterland and have all the old footage, the Cadillac stuff.
Winterland is my favorite all time.
That's a
Kiss
great
recording. They were young. It was raw. They were hungry. And there was no rock and roll all night yet.
I know. Yeah, I know. I like how it's in black and white. I just think that makes it really
absolutely
timeless, and I love watching that one too. But I thought it was really cool how they brought some of that old footage back, and the content they had on the moving screens, the LED.
See now that was, from my point of view, I couldn't hardly see any of that stuff because I was so high up. So I get to experience that next month.
You'll really enjoy all that stuff, because I took a lot of pictures, actually, more than I normally take, but just any cool thing that popped up production, I would just want to kind of get a picture of it. They came out great. And you'll really dig because what they came down on, like those kind of platform things.
Yeah, that was
those
badass.
are on the bottoms. On the bottoms of them, they're all LED screens. I'm sure you've seen a bunch of pictures of it.
Yeah.
But they all had different content, and they had different things going on and moving. It was really, really, really cool. So yeah, you'll love those.
Well, do you have any final thoughts for people who may not have seen the show yet or are on the fence about going?
Absolutely go. And I was walking into this a jaded asshole Kiss fan, and
I think we all kind of were.
I got my ass handed to me like numerous times. It was absolutely fantastic. I had so much fun, and didn't buy any merch. It's the first show I've ever bought merch at.
That's funny. All right, man. Well, I won't take up any more of your time. I appreciate you jumping on here for a few minutes.
Sure. Yeah, man. Good to see you last night, and thanks for asking me to do this.
All right, man. I will see you in Nashville.
Absolutely, man. Safe travels.
Peace out.
See ya.
Hey, thanks, Bryan. Thanks, Phil, for those kick-ass reviews. Now it's time for Dennis and Bill to talk because I'm running out of breath.
You talked more in this episode than you've talked
about the whole
about.
fucking show.
I'm proud of you.
We're on episode 159, and I think in like 100 episodes you haven't talked that much.
I'm so proud of him. He's talked like more than we could ever.
That's because he only wants to do the interviews.
That's true.
Well,
That's all right,
you
man.
know,
That's cool.
we
awesome.
planned the interview with my friend Jeff. We planned the interview with my friend Bryan. And then the Phil thing was kind of a spontaneous thing this afternoon, you know. It's just like,
because you ran into those guys, which was great. We saw the pictures of them and like going, well, Alan's like, I ran into them. It's like, well, you some bitch.
That some bitch probably following them backstage too.
Well, the thing was, I saw the Facebook post from Ryan, and I was going to text him and say, I pulled up his phone number, and I was going to text him and say, hey man, are you here? And then I was like, that'd not be cool. So I opted not to do that. Oh well. Yeah. That's all right. It's cool. So, deep breath.
Okay. My first show in 19 years. Here's what I want to do, though. I mean, Alan and I kind of talked. This is funny for this show because, Bill, you and I have not talked. You have not talked to Alan. Alan and I drove home that night, and we every once in a while would start to talk about the show, and we would stop each other and go, stop. We're not talking about the show. We're not, no opinions, no nothing. We don't want to talk about this till we get to the show. So that's how good we are about this show. So, Alan, finally we get to talk about this thing after an hour and a half ride home.
Yeah.
My mouth's still burnt from that coffee.
Oh, my God. I thought he was going to wreck the car. I was like, oh!
I spilled on my jeans. I got my mouth, my tongue's all burnt.
Probably burned his wiener and spilled so much of it.
Anyway, Bill,
poor Bill misses out on all the fun.
You've been to so many shows. Rate this show. Let's just go out at first. Let's just go for a Kiss show. What was it to you? I mean, was it as good as you seen?
So if I had to list my top 3 shows, it's definitely in the top 3. I just can't figure out where it is.
That's good.
Because the first time I saw Kiss was just amazing, which was in 1978. I think the Revenge tour was a really good tour. I thought the show was really good. They were tight as they could be. I mean, it was just different. But I'm telling you, they drug out an arsenal. I mean, an arsenal. I told Lisa today, I'm like, I would like to know how much they spend on pyro for one show, because
pyro and munitions.
Yeah, they they were blowing.
It's like
up.
What Disney spends.
Oh my God!
A night, and I'm sure they were up there.
But from a show and the flow of the show and the whole thing, I thought it was great. I thought it was fantastic. I said from the very beginning, I was not watching any video. I was not listening to any audio, and I only read the set list the very first night, from the Quebec show, and then I don't even remember what it was, because it's been a month or so ago. And I got every bit of my money's worth, every bit of it. And I think the other 15,000 or 12,000 or however many thousands of people were in that arena got their money's worth too. And by the way, if there's any question about if the show's going to sell out, you just need to start going to the shows, because that place was pretty damn full last night.
Yeah, there were very few seats that I saw that were.
I actually
empty.
looked at tickets for Nashville because Kelly, matter of fact, because I bought her the extra ticket for Indianapolis, which is a shed show, and she said I would like to see it in a arena also. I looked at tickets tonight for Nashville. They're all secondhand tickets, and they're all going for a minimum of $150.
Yeah, I mean, it was just.
So yeah,
but it was a great show from the very beginning. I'll admit it. The minute the curtain turned, the lights went off. The light was shining on the curtain, and you see that Kiss logo up there.
And that rumble.
I was getting goosebumps when the curtain dropped. I got a little teary-eyed just because it was.
I did too.
Because. So my thing was, if this ended up being the last time, it was just a emotional moment, and standing there next to Lisa and Max and Noah was just really, for me, just my family was there. It was just a moment. And I've had moments like that at other shows, but it really was like this is going to end.
Right.
Whether it's tonight or and funny, as many times as I've said I'm ready for it to end and it's okay for it to end, it's not okay. It's not.
I understand
okay.
that. I understand that.
Yeah, it's just not. I'm not ready. So I.
But
thought
that was
ready.
really good though that you got to do that with Lisa and Noah and Max. I think that's really cool because it was one of those things where even Kelly, I was talking today to her, and I was like saying, well, Lisa was there, and she goes, "Oh, Lisa went." I'm like going, and then she was like, "Oh, well, but she couldn't have. Kelly couldn't have went because of her. She was on call." So
Lisa didn't want to go to Jacksonville. She didn't want to go to Indy.
And Max has not been to it. Max has never seen a Kiss show, and it makes me want. I know I need to get him a lawn seat.
Anyway, so I thought the pyro was incredible. I don't know if Paul lip synced or not. I don't give a shit. If he did,
I don't think so.
If you did,
honestly.
you couldn't tell it very well. I thought you could tell the way he was talking that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he was or not. I don't care. I mean, what I saw last night, if he was, you sure couldn't tell it, or it was very difficult to tell if you could tell. So, I was fine with it.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I asked Bryan and I asked Phil the same question, and I will ask you as well, Dennis. Was there a point in the show that you thought was a low point, or something that kind of brought you down?
Yes,
for me, every time we do solos, it's just kind of like, I get it, but and you could have fit another song in there. That's how it was, because I know they're great musicians. You don't get to be in this level of your career and not be a good musician.
Right.
I don't need that, but because I could have thought, they could have thrown in something off of Revenge. I'd have been very happy, as opposed to, hearing, another drum solo or a guitar solo or Paul staying up there for a few minutes, kind of whatever. But I also understand that, those guys needed a little bit of a rest and a break every now and then, and I get that too. But I don't know that there was really a low point. For me. I mean, it was. No, I don't think so.
Fair enough.
Other than that, I don't think so.
For me, I agree with Bill as far as I do not completely understand why they still, especially on the farewell tour, are doing that Led Zeppelin or that kind of that Who little interchange on Lick It Up. I don't understand that. I mean, it's cool, and I understand why. I like the sound of it, but the time that they spend doing that little interlude at the end, play another Kiss song. You got a plethora. And there was actually another point, and I wish I could point it, and maybe you guys can bring that up, that they referred to another Who song in their music, just for a short period.
There was a spot they did a Led Zeppelin thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Where they keep referring, and I know that those are the people that they were influenced by, but the whole point is, this is a Kiss concert, and you got a plethora of material. So, I mean, you could have snuck another song in there. I don't, please do that. But other than that, I was kind of really happy last night. Like I said before, this was my last concert with Kiss was 2000. It was their farewell, the farewell tour with the original members. I didn't see any of the tours from then. And then I, went to this one with a very open mind of what I'm going to see, and I was extremely pleased. And I got some more remarks to make about that. There was a few issues, and Alan, there was one thing that I did bring up with you on the way home, and I don't know if we never did find that, and I actually listened back and I couldn't find it again. But there's a part where I think Kiss as a band has changed. Was it Let Me Go Rock and Roll? There's a part in that solo part where they've shortened the song, and it's just what it is. It's not what the original song was. I originally thought that Tommy Thayer had shortened it himself, and it was a flub, and they had kind of worked it in. But I think as a band, they've just shortened it because, Let Me Go was how many minutes was it originally? It was a very long song.
On the Alive album, it was a little bit longer because it was the end song.
Exactly. So I think at some point they have shortened it. So it's not Tommy's fault. It's just basically a band decision to shorten the song. But it always bugs me whenever I hear that because I think he's fucking something up, but it's not. But no, other than that, I was very pleased last night. I was a happy camper.
Okay, my next question to you: were there any moments in the show that surprised you in a good way?
Yeah. Bill got a boner when they played Do You Love Me?
I was always I was very happy about that. Surprisingly in a good way.
Guys.
I thought
so.
I thought, and you're gonna probably think this is weird. And I kind of knew about this. I thought the piano thing with Eric Singer playing Beth I thought that's pretty cool. I thought it was cool because they did it different. It wasn't the same old way. I think he actually played it.
Well, now hold on a second, Dennis.
No,
I have a perspective different than you guys because I was sitting so high up.
All right.
But obviously they had the orchestra like they always do.
Oh yeah, they had that piped in.
But I was paying attention watching Eric quote unquote play. Obviously they're not going to pack out a grand piano at every show. So they probably did what Elton John does, and he has, an electric piano, like a keyboard or whatever, inside that. But when I was watching him play, his hands were in the proper spot for the key the song was in, and then I noticed, when piano players, they hit soft or they hit hard, depending on how they want, how striking the notes need to be. Right. And I noticed that, he was moving his hands like a piano player that knows what they're doing.
That's something that
because most people aren't going to pay attention to that, I don't think. So I think he was playing along with the orchestra.
Definitely.
I believe he was playing something. I may be wrong, but I still don't care.
Well,
that's what I said. That's what I was looking at. It's funny because when they're watching the video, but I'm trying to look at his hands, and you from where I was sitting, you could see his hands and you could see him kind of moving.
Right.
But to your point, when there were runs on the piano, you could see him moving that way. And I was like, I think he's really playing that.
Right.
Okay. So I really tried to pay attention to that more than because I'm trying to figure out now he's not really going to play that. It was that for me that was kind of impressive.
It cracks me up the minutia of us Kiss fans just looking at stupid little things like that rather than just sit back and enjoy the experience.
I think it was really cool because it actually kind of brought back that Fan of the Park. I know I got that wrong again.
Phantom of the Park. They did
and Peter's sitting there playing, and they're kind of, and Gene, that's his big thing now. He walks over and puts his hand on Eric's shoulder after he's done everything. Now the thing I really find funny is we're all questioning this, but this is the one song that Kiss has always played a tape for. You know what I'm saying?
I wasn't worried about the tape part. I mean, I knew.
You know what I'm saying though? We're all worried about what's fake and what's not. It's like we know this song is fake. Yeah, but now we're like going, maybe he's playing along with it.
I think he's playing along.
That is a good point.
But I think that was a high point, and Do You Love Me? He was a high point, and I don't, the video thing the stage show was a high point in general. I mean, the graphics they use and all that other kind of stuff, I thought was really cool.
See, now I have to kind of hold off till Nashville for that because I was so high up in the rafters that I couldn't see most of what was going on
see
those
any of the big
That's the thing I think was bad.
I had that big one, that whenever the lever that comes out that picks Gene up at some point, that big catapult or whatever hell you want to call it, big I-beam was right in front of the screen. So I didn't get to really see any of the screen. The one thing that I did notice, though, was then when they were doing God of Thunder, they had all those Genes singing behind them, and
that was fucking badass.
Yeah, that's cool.
But that is recorded. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's not Gene.
Yeah, that's recorded.
Well, they're playing.
I've watching Gene, and I was watching his head movements, and I'm like going, Gene's not.
Well, there also wasn't a microphone in front of his face on any of that.
No, that was all planned.
That goes to. Everybody wonders if they're playing to a click track. I guarantee you they're playing to a click track because I was noticing that they weren't looking at each other and they were ending every songs perfectly. Yeah, they didn't even look at it. Yeah, Which I like the bands that play along to a click track. That doesn't bother me, even as a musician.
I said,
that doesn't.
But
bother me.
It didn't bother me. Like I said, the whole point. I knew, like I said, when I was watching that, I'm like going, I'm looking at Gene. I know his head's not cocked like this, which was on the video screen. I'm like going, okay, so I know that's. So
well,
this has
to
be a complete.
Every one of those videos was a different video, because
they
were all moving in different positions, which I thought that's what made that kind of cool.
Well, first I was thinking maybe having different camera angles, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, I'm watching him, and he's not doing that. But
I just thought it's cool that all of a sudden he's up there, and there's like, I don't know, 14 of them, and it was just cool. It brought that eeriness of the whole thing out a little bit more.
I'm looking forward to seeing that in Nashville when I'm way closer to the stage.
Yeah.
So what was your original question, though, Alan? Was it our
high points?
Was there a high point in the show or something that caught you off guard?
Here's one thing that I want to say right off the bat, and something that I thought of that just hit me hard as I'm watching this thing. When 100,000 Years, which is one of my favorite songs, Gene comes out, Badoo. I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna do this because there again, I didn't look at the fucking set list. I forgot that was even the set list. Badoo, 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 Badoo. Then all of a sudden, then they pull in Eric Singer starts playing that drum solo with the phaser, going on.
That was pretty slick.
But they did it at first, and then all of a sudden, then they start kicking in. He starts kicking the double bass drums. The phaser ends, and then he does his own solo.
Right.
If anybody in that band deserves to wear the cat makeup, that man has earned it. Period. No question. I don't want to hear nobody fucking saying, oh, Peter Craig, you know what? Eric Singer owns that shit. Because he not only can he play
he's a professional.
All the stuff that Peter ever played, he takes it to another fucking level. Plus, he's been in that fucking band longer than Peter ever wanted to be in that band. You know what I'm saying? So I don't care. I'm not Tommy. I'm still on the fence. Tommy does a good job for what he does, and I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem with Tommy, but Eric Singer owns that fucking makeup. That's just my own opinion. You know what?
That's your opinion, and you have your right to it.
Dennis at agesofrock.com. Send me your fucking hate mail. I don't give a shit. But I'll tell you what, though, after watching that, hearing that when they did the phaser, I mean, he did that fucking solo up to a point exact. And then all of a sudden, it became Eric's solo. And you know what? That's one of those first drum solos. I didn't take a piss. I sat and watched it.
Well, to your point, I'm just tired of hearing all that crap anyway, because Tommy's been in that. Both of them have been in that band longer than any of the other two were ever in the band. Yes, the band started because of the two of them, but you know what? They've moved on, and everybody else. It's just the way
Tommy
it works.
has been. I mean,
people make choices, so let
Eric
it go.
has been there every fucking day. Every time that Kiss needed him to be there, he's been there, and he's played at his tip top. And whenever he's not playing with fucking him, he's playing with Alice. He's playing with other people. That dude is a fucking drummer.
He's
And
a professional.
He is a professional musician, and whoever he's playing with at that point, he is the number one person playing drums. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that dude has earned that makeup. And you know what? Peter Criss can kiss my ass. Eric Singer is the cat, man. I'm telling you what, he has earned it, dude. He has earned it. And that concert did that for me a lot.
Cool.
I was like,
Well, 100,000 Years was a high point for me because I wasn't expecting it. And
exactly.
I won't say that I Was Made for Loving You as a high point, but it did catch me off guard.
It was good.
And I think that's the first time that I've seen Paul fly out to his stage and stay there for 2 songs.
2 songs.
I mean, I may be wrong, but I don't remember any of the other shows that I was at he stayed other than, when they were ending Love Gun, he was already flying back.
He was coming back from Love. They always did an extended Love Gun. I'm like you. I was surprised the shit out of me when he did that.
I thought it was strange, though, where they had it located, because I'd seen some pictures where it was located, like, in the middle of like it was in Evansville. It wasn't, well, maybe in Evansville.
It's usually offset either to the right.
Well, it's usually, like, in the middle of the fan. I mean, it's got barricades around it, but, I mean, people could still kind of get closer, but there's no way you could get to him. He's in the middle of the sounds.
When I went to Terre Haute, the first time he did that was Cycle Circus, wasn't it?
No, he's been doing that for.
Anyway, he flew.
He wasn't doing it on the reunion tour.
Yeah, it was Cycle Circus. He flew to the corner of Terre Haute. So where he flew basically the center right behind the front soundboard. He was actually to that same distance back, but to the right. So maybe it was just like, maybe it has something to do with
it depends on the size of the venue.
Maybe it has to do with the venue.
It's
maybe
very possible.
There was something they had to do something different.
That stage was huge, though.
Yeah,
that stage was gigantic. They're not doing that in a shed.
That's what I'm glad that I saw that. Well, I really
not doing that in a shed.
Yeah. The low point, and I really can't say it's a low point because I don't dislike the song, but and you're gonna hear this more than once in this episode. Say yeah, kind of the crowd level kind of went down.
My first pee break
during that song. So I think, if they had picked another song, even modern day Delilah, I like that song better than Say Yeah.
I would have loved that, actually. But Say Yeah.
Yeah.
Pee break and get a beer. That's what I did.
That's funny.
That's the sing-along to give Paul a rest.
Yeah. Now, here is something that I don't know if you guys could see it from your angle, but, when they first announced the costumes for this tour and they showed Tommy's costume, everybody was like, oh, my God, that is terrible, blah, blah. Oh, that costume from where I stood was fucking badass because every time he would move, the light would reflect off of it, and it was shooting out that way, and it was shooting out that way, and it looked like it had lasers coming out of his whole body. No.
The whole fucking thing, he was doing that. Yeah. Every time he turned, there'd be a fucking laser, almost like a laser beam.
I thought that was just so...
That was kind of cool.
Fucking awesome. It wasn't just cool, it was fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, it was...
I didn't know if y'all could see it from the level that you guys were at, but, man, it was... brilliant from way up top.
When he came over on that, so we were a couple of sections down from that little kind of pod thing that came out. Not that little curve pod thing at the end of the stages, edges of the stage. When he came out on that thing, anytime he moved, it was like the lighting was. The costume was built, the costume wasn't built for the lighting, but the lighting was built around that, I think. I mean, I'm sure that somebody thought, I could make this reflect off this costume based on these mirrors, and we put these lights. I mean, it's cool because it looks like beams coming off of him. It was cool.
Yeah, and laser beams for the spaceman.
Yeah, and I just don't remember. I don't think that Aces did that for Dynasty. He had all that mirrored crap all over it.
Yeah.
But I don't know that it did. I just can't remember. It's been a day or two ago.
See
Dynasty is 40 years old now, dude. 40 years old.
That's why I said it's been a day or two.
Well, it's 40 years old this year.
Here's my thing, though. With Tommy, like I said, I give Eric that thing because, like I said, I've seen Eric before, and I've seen him with Revenge, and he's been Tommy's new I just have a little bit of an issue because the Catman. I don't care who's in that makeup. It really don't bother me because
That's because you're a guitar player.
It's because you're a guitar player.
I never was a big Peter Criss fan. Ace, I still have. I mean, I love Tommy. Don't get me wrong, but like with Tommy, I know with Cold Gin, Cold Gin, and all of a sudden it stops. You didn't get that. You didn't get that feedback, which they're not using the amps on stage, so it's hard to do that. That's not Tommy's fault that feedback didn't happen. But you know what? In my brain, I'm like going, Ace could have probably pulled that off. And it's just me. And like I said, there has nothing to do with Tommy or anything. But Tommy did a great job. So he hit every note like he was supposed to hit. It just, I don't know.
Just for clarification,
okay.
Tommy's been in Kiss since 2002.
Oh, I know. Don't get me wrong. He's been there a long time.
He's been there longer than Ace was in both of his runs.
Because you know what? Whenever I went to the Kiss convention,
or Mark, or Vinny,
you
can add them all together.
When I went to the Kiss conventions, Tommy was fucking setting up shit. Tommy's been in Kiss for a long time.
I don't have.
If there is anybody in the Kiss army that has paid their dues, it's Tommy Thayer.
You know what? I will give him that right now.
I mean, he went from a fucking private in the Kiss army to being
he's worked his ranks.
A guy. He played Ace in the tribute band Cold Gin. Right. Then he's working for Kiss.
Yeah.
Then he put together, I think he did a lot of work on the Kissologies and stuff.
Right.
And a lot of that compilation stuff.
Tour and working.
He worked with Ace. He worked with Ace to help Ace get himself back up to touring level.
Right.
And then when Ace is out of the band again, there he is. He's in the band. Right. He's ready to go. They know he knows his stuff. So
as I did with Eric was a lot easier, but I will give Tommy. I tell you what, right now I'll give Tommy his props too. You know what? He's earned that makeup. He has. Is it? It's just harder for me to say that, but you know what? That concert was a really, for not seeing Kiss for 19 years, it was. I'm glad I went. I really did.
Well, I think part of the reason that was so good is the band seems to be re-energized. Because I saw them when they did the co-headline tour with Def Leppard, the show was slow. It was lethargic. It's a whole different thing now. And I don't know if it has to do that they're doing the click track so they're staying on track better, or if the changes in tuning in the guitars has had anything to do with them being more energized. Whatever the reason is, there was more energy in that show than I've seen in a Kiss concert, and I couldn't tell you how long.
Well, the problem is, if you talk about energy, and that's another thing, I remember like in the Revenge, watching them through Revenge, and then even in the first, whenever we seen them in Louisville, the movement of them. You got to remember now, these guys are now 20 years older. They're in their
Paul is 67 and Gene is 69.
60s.
Yeah.
And
they're packing around
they're not
50
gonna run
pounds.
On stage. They're not going to jump off this riser, and they're not going to Gene's not going to do this like big kick and all this shit. So if your brain, if you could sit there and watch it and make your brain say, okay, you got to realize that these guys are not the guys we saw 40 years ago. They do a damn good show. Damn good show.
I tell you what, I videotaped the very end of the show.
Right.
And I tried to post it earlier, and I think Wikipedia was
Facebook and Instagram are
major issues right
shit
now.
in the bed pretty bad today.
Yeah. So I tried to post it earlier, and it didn't post, but and I tried to post it on our page, but I've showed that to people today at work, and they're like, "Oh my God!" And I'm like, "They're going to be in Noblesville, people.
Yeah.
If you don't have a ticket, you better get you one."
That's funny.
Better get it now.
Because it's it's hard to get people to understand, and they don't get it. But I'm glad I went. It was worth every dime.
And you know what? I need to take.
I can't wait to go again in a month, and I'm going again on April 12th, so it'll be a month. And I can't wait to go.
What's April 12th?
That's when I go to Florida.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jacksonville.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So that's just 4 days after 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, that's 4 days after I see them.
Yeah.
This comes out Thursday, and guess what? Saturday night, you know where I'm going to be? I'm going to be in Memphis seeing Amos Lee. Yeah.
I'm going to be at a St. Patrick's Day party.
I'm going
to be at a West Point potential incoming. Please.
Y'all, by the way, Bill joined the Army.
Do I?
I said, by the way, y'all, Bill joined the Army.
Yeah, Bill's son may be joining the Army. So,
yeah,
the real Army. But I did, so souvenir-wise, I did wait in line.
What'd you get?
I did get a book.
What did it cost you? 65?
It was 40.
40. Okay.
The pictures in it, I mean, the back of it is as cool as the front. I mean, it's got a different. It's kind of weird,
cool.
But it is very cool. The pictures in it are really cool, and they've got pictures from every tour.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Which is really cool. Different tickets and different stuff. And here I'll kind of, you probably can't see this very well, but I'll just throw a thing up there.
Well, when I come up to your house, I'll look through it.
Yeah. So I took it to work today, and I showed a couple people, and they're like, "Well, can I open it?" I said, "Well, you can open it, but just don't open the pages like too far."
I don't too far. They're like, I want to crack the binding.
They're like, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, you can't crack the binding."
Yeah, you can't.
But it looks like the binding's a little cracked, but it's okay.
Yeah,
it's all right. No big deal. But anyway, I think that's the second version, right? Because I think the first
is the second
version they ran out. They've already ran out. So this has got some photos from the tour in it.
Did you buy a shirt too?
No, I'm gonna buy a shirt. I decided I was gonna buy a shirt with the Louisville shirt, but I'm gonna buy a Jacksonville shirt because I think the Jacksonville shirt
that would be more for you because your family, your dad, and everything.
Yeah, I think buy a Jacksonville.
You need to buy you and your dad a matching shirt. That'd be cool.
Oh, my dad would not wear that. That'd be like I just might as well just go throw $50 in the trash.
Okay, well just buy a 2X and then give it to me.
I'd like to have the baseball shirt. The baseball shirt's really cool, but it's like $75. I'm not paying $75.
That's what Brian got, didn't he? Didn't Brian get a baseball shirt?
Brian got a book, a baseball shirt, and something else.
It was $160-something.
$165, whatever he bought.
Hey, maybe his wife doesn't know how much he spent.
You know what I bought?
Does.
Here is my souvenir. Free tickets.
I didn't even get that.
Well, this is the first time I've actually had physical concert tickets, and I couldn't tell you how long.
Yeah,
me either.
Yeah, Max. So Max, we had a problem with the ticket.
That was crazy. I was scared for you, dude. I was really scared.
I hope that she has that ticket because I want the ticket. Because I realized today that it's a physical ticket. It's like,
so
I haven't seen a physical ticket in I don't know how long. So I'm like,
Bill,
have that show.
So Bill, as a public service announcement, what were you told by the people at the ticket office?
Well, yeah. So what ended up happening was I always buy electronic tickets just because
through Ticketmaster.
Through Ticketmaster.
Right.
I don't want to pay them another fee to mail them, and I think it's stupid. I transferred Lisa's ticket, Noah's ticket, texted Max's ticket. She got it. She said that she got it she could see it on her Ticketmaster, and then when she went back to open it up, Ticketmaster said, this account doesn't exist.
Right.
Oh,
so
shit.
She tried to get a ticket or her thing, and it didn't work. Finally, she couldn't get on at all. And when she
we were eating supper, and she was like,
reset her password, and finally when she reset her password, it popped up and said when you clicked on my tickets, it said this ticket has been claimed by another email address. So something happened. So we went to the will call window. They got somebody from like a manager type person that came over. He looked at my ticket. He looked at her phone. He said, well, something with the phone, and he's trying to pull stuff back. And then he goes, well, he said the worst thing. He said, did you transfer these? And I said, well, yeah, it says transfer right on the ticket. And he goes, that's the worst thing you could ever do. That just doesn't work. And I'm like, well, I've never. And I said we never had any problems with it. We did have problems with it one time with Lisa, and I can't remember how it worked out, but he ended up getting us a ticket, printed the ticket, and then so she.
But it was about a 25-minute
Yeah, it was a
ordeal.
20-minute ordeal. Yeah, it was a few
But
minutes.
the whole point is, if you have Ticketmaster tickets and you want to transfer them, the best thing to do is just take a picture of it and send it to your person you want to send it to. Keep the original yourself and send them a picture, because when they go into the venue, all they need is that barcode.
Yeah.
So if they have a picture of it, you text them the picture, do that. And then if there's an issue, you still have it on your phone, because this transfer, if that is an issue with Ticketmaster, we're doing a service to other people.
Yeah.
Because I tell you what, you don't want to at the last minute be fucking around
like yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
sit there and worried about being able to get somebody in because you transferred a ticket and something electronically messed up. So
Yeah. So
just send a photo of it. Keep the original.
Anyway, it worked out. It was a great night. I'm glad I went. I would tell anybody that if you haven't seen it, go. If you're thinking about going, don't think about it. Buy a ticket.
Exactly.
If you are worried about it being bad, not worth the money, then you're just stupid.
Of all the shit that I said.
Well, my
on the
final
previous
thought
show,
was ditto Bill.
and all the shit that I said on previous, like I was worried about, Paul's voice. I tell you what, I watched really close. I don't think there was probably a couple. We know Cycle Circus, that scream is first, but there was places where his voice was rough, and that was good. That was good to me, because that made me feel like, you know what, it's not all fucking canned. It is actually live. And you want my biggest qualm about the whole damn show was? It wasn't that loud. What the hell?
Yeah, it wasn't that loud. Yeah, it wasn't that loud.
That was the same thing, and I forgot to bring that up when I was talking about Metallica. I expected it to be loud, and it wasn't.
I want my ears to ring. When I leave a Kiss concert, my ears need to be ringing just a tad. But it was very clear. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
it
see,
was loud,
that's
but it
one
was
of the
clear.
things everybody using digital equipment now.
Right.
Is I don't think when you get it to the point that it's loud and your ears are ringing, it's distorted.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think that's one of the reasons that it's not so loud anymore, is because none of it is analog equipment anymore.
But I've been to some newer digital places where when the bass drum, man, when it fucking hits, it does that shit. I didn't feel that. Now maybe as high up, I don't know. Maybe you felt it.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't loud.
So yeah, I was. That was my only bad thing about that whole concert was, I want to hear the loudest band in the world, the biggest band in the world. I want to, I want to be hurting when I leave the place.
Well, I can tell you, I think you saw the hottest band in the world, because I don't know how those dudes do it and stand in front of those flames, because where I was sitting, I could feel it.
I felt it where I was at, so I don't know if Alan felt it.
Yeah,
they blew
some
shit
up.
The
whole venue.
Yeah,
it was crazy. Yeah. Well, that's my review.
What a great show. Yeah,
go and go again.
If you don't go to the Kiss concert because of who's in the makeup, that's on you. You're just missing a good show.
Exactly.
But in the same token, I'm not going to hold it against you, because it's not my loss.
Yep. Enjoy the last show that you went to and savor that one. But if you can go see a new one, goddamn, go see it. It's good.
And on that note, folks, we thank you for paying attention to us for another episode, number 159 again.
Wow.
80sofrock.com. Find all of our social media. Stitcher Radio, 105 The Globe. Monday afternoons, 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Yes, we are in Daylight Saving Time. So, till next time.
So I'm still tired.
Peace out, folks. Thanks for listening to the Ages of Rock podcast. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and most importantly, tell all your friends. Remember, you're never too old to rock. Until the next episode, peace out, folks.